Hello, and welcome to Conversations Worth Your While, a show in which I chat with inspiring experts about interesting topics to spark, inspire, and motivate both personal and professional change. And today's topic is high performance teams, finding uncertainty, or sorry, I should say that better, finding certainty in uncertain times. So, this conversation is worth your while because the success of a company depends on a clear path. And that means a clear strategy, a common mission, effective teamwork, and happy employees. But in today's world, people are all stressed out. They're unsure of the right moves. Everybody's frustrated, especially with this hybrid workforce, and teams are out of alignment. So, as we're coming out of COVID, we've got to look at our businesses and our teams differently. We need to find new ways to align our teams and to garner excitement and enthusiasm and fulfillment so that employees enjoy their jobs and effectiveness, and so that the company can be more profitable and grow. So, today, what we're going to cover is we're going to talk about the characteristics of high performing teams. We're going to talk about how uncertainty is preventing that high performance and why the strategies of the past won't work in today's world. And finally, we're going to share with you how to cultivate high performance by increasing certainty. So, I would like to start with a few introductions. I'm Linda Bucher, and I believe that each one of us is here to make big, beautiful ripples in this world that only you can make. And that getting you to be able to understand and cultivate your gifts so that you can share them with the world is not only the purpose for each one of us, but it is our duty and responsibility. And I love to help people do that by coaching, leading, mentoring, and teaching. And today I have the pleasure of being joined by Ray Madaghiele of Business Energizers.
Good job.
All right. And Ray helps teams to get into alignment so that they can be more productive, more profitable, and more fulfilled. So, hi, Ray. Thank you so much for being my guest today on Conversations Worth Your While.
Hi, Linda. Thanks for having me. Yeah, happy to be here.
Thank you. And so, can you tell us a little bit more about what you do, who you do it for, and why you do it?
Got it. Got it. Yeah, so I'm Chief Inspiration Officer for Business Energizers. I've been in business for over 30 years, and my passion is helping leaders get teams moving in the same direction toward the same common goals. Yeah, and so for me, I just love the feeling when a team comes together, they click, they're on all cylinders. So here we're in football season, and so watching these teams high performing, that for me is what I love to see in a company as well.
Mm.
Yeah, so what I'd like to do is how I do that is I help people get clear. And so Linda talked about clarity and how important that is for a high performance team. I like to help teams get organized, to get action plans so they can move in the right direction, a direction that they feel a strong conviction towards. And that's so that they can realize the fulfillment and success that they want to achieve.
Perfect. That's wonderful. Okay, so let's move on to our topic about high performing teams finding certainty in uncertain times. So we're going to talk about high performing teams. Now, I'm in Buffalo, and we got the Buffalo Bills. The Buffalo Bills
I
have been
know, I know.
high
See, I teed you
performing.
up. You see
Oh, they
that?
have been so much fun to watch. Although at times I'm chewing off all my fingernails.
Uh-huh.
But high performing teams. Let's talk about the characteristics of them. In your experience, as both an employee and as a consultant, that what you're doing today, what do you see as the most important characteristics of high performing teams?
Got it. Got it. Yeah. So one of them is, and these aren't in any particular order, but the team members need to be clear on what their role is in the team. So what is expected out of them, and how do they, or how are they supposed to work together? Second ingredient is to really know what is the end goal for this team. So some teams they're just there temporarily for a particular project. Some teams are ongoing, and maybe the goals change as they go. So really to be clear about what are we looking to accomplish as a team. Another element is really aligning the passions that the team members have. So are they working on the tasks that really light them up or not? and it's the best that we can. If we can put a person in the path that really gives them a sense of fulfillment, that lights them up, they love doing it, they're going to keep wanting to do that. And so they're going to be a very loyal employee. So those three, I think, are the main ingredients.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. In my experience, when I was in the corporate world for over a quarter century, and I had, our departments were a team. That's why you're, as a department, like you have a goal as a department to do something. And I had some wonderful bosses that gave me the big picture, the mission, right? Gave me the big picture. I knew what we were working on as a whole and how I fit in, so that I could understand my role and its importance to the overall mission and vision of the department and that project, whatever that project may be. And then I had some bosses that just said, I want you to do this. It was so much more fulfilling to know I was a part of something bigger. And that really, that aligns with my personal mission about, we are here to make ripples. And sometimes we don't know where our ripples are going to go. We're like, well, why am I bothering? So we want to know, like, what's this going to reach? How big is this ripple going to get? How am I going to reach? So the teams worked so much better when we all knew how we fit in and why the goal was so exciting. So then we felt like a part of something.
You got it. Yeah. So for me, so I do things like strategic planning. So I'll just use that as an example. Some people bring me into a company to really help them develop either some elements of it or the total strategic plan. And the thing right from day one that I share with them is you want everyone involved. You want everyone with a piece of the puzzle so that they feel a sense of connection to the success of wherever you're going with a goal that you've set. Have them be a part of it. Have them be a part in the creation of it. Have them be a part in creating the values in the organization and how we're going to treat each other. They know more than some leaders think they know. And to really ask the employees for input on all the different elements. Yeah, it makes all the difference in the world on how a person loves being connected with that company.
Yes, and it helps them connect better with the team members as well. So yeah. And also, we've got some uncertainty today in today's world. And this uncertainty is getting in the way of teams being high performing teams. It used to be you could get everybody in the same room and, have these big brainstorming sessions, and, you might meet, a couple times a week, and you really got to know each other, and you're meeting and you're having snacks, like, let's take a break and let's go to grab a coffee and a snack. And then you get back together and there's this cohesiveness that's happening. But in today's world, we've got a lot of uncertainty and things have been changing so much. And so the strategies of the past have not actually been working today. So I'd love if you would elaborate a little bit more on your experience with this.
Yeah, well, let me share an example. So I just worked with a client a couple of weeks ago where we updated a strategic plan that we started on 6 years ago, and this company has just grown astronomically. And it's a great company that I love working with because they support teachers, and they believe teachers should make $1 million. So that they're actually called million dollar teacher project. And so they wanted to update their strategic plan, but not everyone could be in the room. And so we actually set up in a conference room where we had some people that were in virtual, some people were there in the room. And me as facilitator, I had to figure out how to engage everyone that was going to be on the call. And we had an amazing time. And the key thing was that CEO of the company wanted to make sure everyone was involved. He even ordered lunch for the people that were remote that was being delivered to their homes. Isn't that cool? One of them was in upstate New York, and they had just had a snowstorm and they had to shovel the path to get the person to the door. But it's just that sense of people feeling taken care of and feeling connected. And this whole uncertainty, technology fortunately has gotten us to a point where it's getting better and better. And even last week, I attended a Zoom webinar where they've got Zoom rooms that are all set up so that the cameras will actually follow you if you're walking in the room. They'll pan in on the audience members that are talking. And so there are ways in this environment to really feel connected and feel like you're almost there. Granted, in person, there's nothing that's going to replace that total feeling. But we're just having to think through more on how do we keep people connected and feeling a part of whatever we're looking to accomplish as an organization. So
Right.
that's the big thing, I think. And employees are more discerning. And so if they're not feeling fulfilled in a place, they're not feeling treated well by the leader, they're going to go somewhere else. And so it
Yeah.
is definitely it's an employee's market right now to go where they want to.
It is. Yeah, I've heard and read some things about that, about employees being much more discerning, and what they value in a job is so much different. When I hit the job world in 1986, so it's a long time ago, I sought out a company that had really great health benefits and retirement benefits, and that I could work at for mostly my whole career. And I spent almost 20 years there.
Mm-hmm.
So people at that time in their 20s, we were looking for a great company to work for that we were going to like get in there and rise up through the ladder and do our thing and stay with that company. And in today's world, that's not the way people are looking at things. They're not looking for health benefits and retirement benefits. They're looking for fulfillment. They're looking for happiness, for life balance. They want what they want is what eventually the rest of us, realize at 45 years old, wait, I'm not getting fulfillment and happiness and life balance. And that's why I quit the corporate world at 45 years old, because what I wanted in life, what I was doing and where I was working was not in alignment with what was important to me at that time, because I had never asked myself what's important to me.
Yeah.
But now
Yeah.
today's workforce is asking themselves that at the get-go, when they shop for a company, when they're in a team, they're like, that's their litmus test of the day. Do I feel fulfilled? Do I look forward to going to work every day? And,
Mm-hmm.
with my clients, I help them discover, like, I call it like find your wow, discover your what's next, because they are in the position that I was in, where, they're like, I am not fulfilled. I have trouble getting out of bed to go to this job. It pays me well. So I got these handcuffs, but oh my God, I just can't, it's just not interesting, not fun. I don't feel balanced, So even the people
Right.
who initially wanted the great benefits, stick with the company for a long time, they're all changing their mind. It's a totally different workforce today.
Yeah, you're right on it. Yeah, work-life balance is the most significant thing for younger people, especially that are entering the workforce or have been there briefly. Um, yeah, even my son chose to go virtual completely. He had the choice with the company he worked for, and so he did that. And he's got an amazing balance in his life. And it's funny because I just went to Italy to celebrated my 25th wedding anniversary with my
Nice.
lovely bride. Yeah, of 25 years. And Italy has a whole different mindset. So they for them living, they don't work to live. They live and work supports their living. And so they've just got a whole different way of looking at working and being an employee of a company. So
Yeah.
yeah, I think this work-life balance. As a matter of fact, I'm putting together a guidebook specifically called "Energizing and Balancing Your Life," and it's
Mhm.
all about how do you create that for yourself. Really think through what is it that you would really light you up as an individual. What is it that you want to see your life unfolding into? And so it's a huge time to really look at what is this really bringing me the fulfillment that I want in my life? If not, what do I do? And so that's the challenge for employers, for principals of companies, is how do I create an environment where people want to stay with me? Because it isn't like when I entered the workforce too, where there are people that were looking for, they want to stay with that company for life. That's not like that anymore. And yeah, it's about moment to moment. How am I feeling about my involvement? How I'm treated? Am I appreciated? And if I'm not appreciated here, someone else will.
Right. Yeah. I love that you're writing about that. I wrote a book years ago called Success on Your Own Terms, and I talked about
Hmm.
redefining success around who you are,
Hmm.
which is not the definition of success you've been operating under, which you probably inherited from somebody. And
Hmm.
those are the main characters we're bringing up. We're talking about life balance, and we're talking about fulfillment, and then I bring in a third characteristic, and that's freedom.
Hmm.
Those are the things
Absolutely.
I found were way more important to me than anything else. And what's funny about the book is then after you're doing the worksheets and you're reading about those three characteristics, and you're like, oh yeah, okay, and what would that be for me? What kind of freedom do I want?
Hmm.
Why do I want that freedom?
Hmm.
What type of
Hmm.
fulfillment am I looking for, and why? And what is my ideal life balance? If nobody were going to judge me, how would I want to be?
Right.
What percentage of my
Right.
energy would I want to be expending with other, with this type of person or that person, or with my career, with my self, growth, with others, how, like, just really looking
Yeah.
at that closely. And then I get to the point, because I've given this as a live workshop many times, and then it says, anybody have any questions? And always I get somebody go, but what about the money? And I'm like,
Well, it's interesting. I don't know if you know about this about me or not. So I'm a full-time RVer with my wife. So we operate our business as we roll across North America, and we love it. We decided we wanted that freedom 15 years ago. We've been doing it 15 years, and technology has been catching up to us. Fortunately, it makes it easier to do these type of things that we're doing. But yeah, we decided we wanted to do it on our own terms. And there's a lot of people that are choosing that same thing because you can have that freedom if you want it now. You can work remotely if you want. You can do a hybrid if you want. And so, yeah, we've been loving it, and we wouldn't change a thing in our life with that.
that is
Yeah, you could.
beautiful. And I love
Uh,
that you are exemplifying this. People are like, oh, I could never. But what helps people to move their mindset from I could never is when they see it's possible. And they see it's possible
yeah,
by seeing it's possible for someone else and then saying, wait a minute, well, how did he do it? How did Ray do this? What? I could do this? Um,
exactly.
so yeah.
And we were mentored by someone, and we've mentored other people that have chosen to do the similar thing. And so, yeah, you just need to make the decision, get clear on what it looks like for you. Everyone does it a little differently that's doing this lifestyle, but you get to be clear for you. So we're not retired, we're refreshed, we're
Oh, I love it.
rejuvenated, and we still love working and doing what we're doing on the road. So
Beautiful.
you can, yeah, yeah. So I encourage anyone that's listening to this, look at your life. What is your purpose? So my purpose is to be a ray of hope and light in the
Mm,
world, to
right.
shine that. And then my business is very similar. It's to inspire hope and awaken greatness in people. And so you get to decide what that is, to get clear on what that is, and then
Mm.
create this, dig into it a little bit, create the steps, put your toe in the water a little bit, and see what it feels like, and imagine yourself doing that as you move into your next part of your life.
Right. And this is a beautiful parallel, because if we're talking about how to cultivate high performance so that our teams are fulfilled and aligned, and so that our companies experience higher profitability, higher productivity, and increased growth. So the parallel is about this vision. You're saying, envision what it could be like. Um,
Mm-hmm.
and getting everybody on the same page of the vision, even though each company might be doing it differently, right?
Yeah, and
So,
put that in writing. See, there are a lot of CEOs that have it in their mind, but it's not in writing, so it's not clearly communicated. People are confused on what it is. They don't know what to embrace, and so put it in writing. Get people to put pieces of it together so that they feel a part of it as well. And then spinning off of there, all your goals, your strategies, your tactics are all in alignment with that, and then you've got everyone moving in the same direction towards the same common goals, achieving in the best interest of the company, and everyone benefits by it and feels that sense of fulfillment by it.
yes. And I like to think of a team like I think of my own business. So I'm an entrepreneur, and I have and this analogy I read somewhere many years ago. My why, my mission, my vision that supports my why is like my hand. And this is for personal. My business has to be a glove that fits over my hand perfectly.
Good.
So it supports my own personal mission, vision, and my own personal why. And teams should work the same entire way. The team together, if they come up with their own why, the why of that team, the why of that project, and they're all in alignment with that why, and then they have the mission and the vision that supports that why, then the how they do it, right, this glove that goes over the top, can be in alignment. And I love that you mentioned that a lot of times, CEOs, they have this, passion, but it doesn't trickle down. And when the teams can be involved in sharing that passion, saying, well, let us brainstorm some ways to get that passion into action, right? This is when you're bringing in the heart of the company into the project and into the team. And that's where the fulfillment comes from. And this is unique. It's because typically, you probably know other consulting firms, they have an analytical approach. I was a project manager and a facilitator in the last corporate job I had before I became a coach. And, you're trained, as a project manager, you're trained as a facilitator, and they're tried and true tools that work, but they're missing the heart. And that's
exactly
what sets people like you and me apart.
Exactly.
From everybody else, right?
That is the uniqueness that we bring into an organization. And so to bring in a sense of heart and have the people on the team connect with their hearts, that's what I love doing. That's where I love seeing the ahas, when someone really gets at a deep level within them. These are the values. If we could treat each other like this, if we could be seen like this by our customers, this is what we stand for. When they really get it at a deep level, then they start living that. I had another client up in Minnesota. It was a Native American organization, and this was what I call an enlightened leader that brought us in. We had a team of people doing a leadership academy. And what I brought in was personal strategic planning. So all the leaders in the organization, from the top down to the front lines, went through this program. We called it Journey in Greatness. And so I had them develop their personal strategic plan. And then the CEO brought me in to work with every level of the company. And we did this in 2 weeks. We went from the top of the company to the bottom. Everyone had input into the strategic plan, and everyone connected with it at a deep level. And they evolved that over 5 years when I worked with them. Next level, next level, next level. And it's just so gratifying to experience when a team comes together and an organization comes together. You can sense when they care about their people. So they paid for all their people to go through Journey in Greatness, which was a lot of personal development stuff, so they could be better people and therefore better employees. So I encourage our listeners, be on a personal growth path, keep growing, be clear about your purpose, your values, your mission, because you can sense that in other companies, and you can put that glove on your hand when you're clear in your own mind about what yours is. Right. And that's how you get a good fit.
Yeah. I love that you
bring
up that personal part. That's really important. Like when I said, when I left the corporate world, it's because I had discovered that someone put it to me this way the other day, and I'm like, that's it. The ladder I had been climbing, when I got to the top of the building, I looked around, I'm like, wait, this isn't the building I want to be in. So I had climbed it. I had the big, nice office, the power suits, the high salary. And I was like, wait a minute, I don't even want to be on this building. And so what happens sometimes with people, and this is an interesting little story, is they say, it's not this. I don't know what it is, but it's not what I've been doing. So they'll come to me to get clarity. And we start with like, who am I now? I knew who I was, or I thought I knew who I was, but wait a minute, who am I now? What's important to me now, if nobody were looking or judging me, or couldn't be used as a measuring stick in any way? And what's right for me in terms of those things we spoke about previously. And a lot of times they come to me because they don't like, they love the work they're doing. They just don't love the team or the environment. That's the issue. Or they can't see how they're a part of something bigger, or the administrative baloney is just in the way of productivity, and they're so frustrated with it. But what also is interesting, that this is the interesting part of the story, is that I had a C-level person come to me, a client, and this client was, felt as if at their level, they were kind of seen as a lower level, even though they were, in title and in job, like equals, right? And, this person, she thought it was because of her gender. She said, I'm the only female on this floor. And so I kind of get the yuck work of, of all the executives, and she said, I'm really unhappy and I need to find what's next. I need to find something different before I quit this high paying job. And so we worked together, and she discovered who she was. She discovered a whole different level of confidence. That's what happens when you find the certainty of who you are and what you're all about.
Yeah.
Garner confidence. And what ended up happening is she ended up showing up differently at work. And when she showed up differently, people treated her differently. And at the end of our 3 months together, she's like, oh my gosh, this is like the Pina Colada song. Oh, it's you. I do want to work here. I do love this company. I do love my job.
Yeah.
She just needed to see herself differently and experience her own personal growth, and see, who am I and what do I want? And how, what do I already have, in that direction? How do I, and just realign. And once she realigned, she found this confidence. She was like, I love my job, and I don't know why, but people are treating me differently. And I'm like, well, I know.
That's the way it works. That's the way it works.
The way it works.
I used to be a Dale Carnegie instructor, and we were always taught as coaches to look for the center strengths of people and keep building on that. That's where the awaken greatness part is of what I do, because within every person is that greatness. And it's sometimes buried and we don't know exactly what it is. And it helps to have someone from the outside, a coach or a mentor, that helps to bring that out. And so I kind of see myself that way as I enter an organization. And I've got someone I've been working with over 5 years as a coach, and she had a very well-established business when we started working. She had been in business for like 3 years and was doing well. And then we started working together. And one thing that she wanted to develop is just more confidence, more understanding of how to be that business leader. And so we worked on that, but we worked on a lot of personal things as well as the leadership types of skills. And she's going to be quadrupling her company this year. Wow. She had doubled it 2 years ago, just because she had the confidence to see an opportunity that met into her bigger vision. And that vision that she had set 5 years ago when we first started working, she's now seeing the biggest part of that vision that's going to happen this year. And so it's amazing what power we have inside ourselves. Sometimes we're not able to see it, and some are from the outside. So if you are working for a company, hopefully you've got a mentor that's within that company. And if not in the company, someone outside, then it helps you to keep discovering that greatness that's within you and have that shine. So everyone can create ripples in the world. That's why we're here.
That's why we're here. All right. And so I'm just going to close this up here. Basically, each one of us is here to make these big, beautiful ripples in the world. And what we've discussed today is about removing uncertainty, finding some certainty in this world of uncertainty. And what we've talked about, and we kept bringing these things up, are clarity, purpose, vision, mission, and alignment. This is the path to having high performance teams, to being a high performance individual, to being a high performance entrepreneur, and to really create the impact that you're here to make as a human and as a company and in the community at large. So
Ray, to be a high performance human. How's that?
Oh, I love that. I love that, Ray. Wow. So, Ray, I want to thank you so much for being on Conversations Worth Your While. And if someone wants to learn a little bit more about what you do or take it a little further with you, what can they do?
Yep. So you can go to my website, businessenergizers.net. And so that's my website. And there's some free resources in one of the tabs. Go there because there's actually a strategic planning 101 class that also helps you look at a little bit of how do you do it personally as well as how do you do it as a business.
Excellent. Thank you very much. And I will put your information into the description of this webcast so that people can actually click right on it to get to your website and get those freebies that you're offering to them. And once again, I'm Linda Bucher, helping you to make the big, beautiful ripples in the world that you are here to make by helping you unleash that bigness inside of you while living a balanced, rewarding life. And I will also put the link to my Success on Your Own Terms free ebook. You can download that, do the worksheets, and I bet you what you find is truly enlightening to learn a little bit more about yourself, what you're all about, and what success means to you as an individual. So once again, I'd like to thank Ray Madaghiele of Business Energizers, and I'd also like to thank you, our audience, for sharing your time with me today. Please subscribe and remember to check the description where you'll find our contact information, the free tools and resources that we're gifting you, and how to contact us. And until next time, please make sure you've made this conversation worth your while by fueling the spark that it ignited.